I read Look Me in the Eye, My Life with Asperger's, by John Elder Robison. It is an autobiography of a man who lived with Asperger's syndrome before it was understood or diagnosed. It is a fascinating look into the mind of a person with an autism spectrum disorder, and he does a great job of putting into words the way he thinks and feels, and how he was able to overcome his so-called abnormalities to be successful in multiple fields. This book made me think about the way that we interact as human beings. The social norms that we have arbitrarily set for ourselves and the irrational and senseless way that we have historically treated those who have trouble conforming to those norms. Robison had a challenging childhood, growing up in a time before Asperger's was understood at all. His inability to respond or act appropriately in social situations led him to having few meaningful relationships, doing poorly in school, and having a rough home life. After being labeled a social deviant and having no future, he dropped out of school and went on to have an amazing career in sound engineering, electrical engineering, and later automobile services. This social misfit, later known in the music industry as Ampy, masterfully maintained Pink Floyd's amplifiers, and built some famous guitars for Kiss, including the light guitar, the smoking guitar, and rocket launcher guitar. His Asperger's made it difficult for him to understand social interactions but gave him savant-like abilities to create sound effects and design circuits. He moved on to engineering some of the first electronic games for Milton Bradley, including working on the design and build of the first electronic voice synthesizers like the one you are currently listening to. The big takeaway for me was his discussion of why he feels he was successful when many other children on the spectrum slide deeper into their own minds, oftentimes refusing to communicate at all, while he struggled tremendously to make friends. He was afforded the patient attention of a few adults in his life that gave him just enough socialization and helpful lessons to motivate him to keep learning to navigate such relationships. It serves as a reminder of how much impact we can have on a child's life with just a little bit of care and understanding. I will end with an excerpt that stuck with me most sharply, and one that I will keep in mind for as long as I may be working with children. Quote, "Many descriptions of autism and Asperger's describe people like me as not wanting contact with others or preferring to play alone. I can't speak for other kids, but I'd like to be very clear about my own feelings. I did not ever want to be alone. And all those child psychologists were dead wrong. I played by myself because I was a failure at playing with others. I was alone as a result of my own limitations, and being alone was one of the bitterest disappointments of my young life." End quote. I would recommend this book highly to anyone with an interest in understanding how human thinking and social norms interact, and how we can do better to help everyone navigate those interactions. Thank you for listening.